This guy is every girl's favorite. But here's the problem, his female friends don't want to stay just friends anymore. This is the story of Cheetos, the most popular guy in school. People even call him New DD because he's always surrounded by girls. But this time, things are different. For the first time, Cheetos realizes his close female friends want something more than friendship. And now, he's about to make a decision to build a real connection with someone. This isn't just a romance story, it's about students trying to find purpose in their young lives. In a world that looks perfect on the outside, but inside everyone's confused. Cheetos is just a normal student who hopes that one day he'll look back and say, yeah, those days actually meant something. But reality? He's just scrolling on his phone until his cute classmate Yua walks up to him. She asks, "What are you looking at?" And Cheetos shows her an anonymous account online talking trash about him, calling him a fake playboy. And yeah, it actually gets under his skin. But Yua reassures him when everyone likes you, haters fade away on their own. Cheetos laughs it off. On the outside, he's confident. But inside? Doubt has already started creeping in. Then Yua gets excited, we're in the same class again. But when Cheetos casually says, yeah, the whole group is in the same class, her mood instantly drops. Because she wanted that moment to be just the two of them. A little later, the whole group meets up. Yuko walks in with a bright smile, grabs Cheetos' hand, celebrating they're together again. But then Yua teases, saying Cheetos was checking out girls on the way to school. And just like that, things get awkward. Cheetos laughs it off, you're just jealous. And then, the stars arrive. Kaito, basketball team superstar. Kazuki, football team superstar. They walk in and immediately declare, we're the leaders of this group. Inside the class, Haru, the girls' basketball star, and Yuzuki, one of the most beautiful girls in school. Yuko has the natural cute charm, while Yuzuki carries a confident, attention-grabbing aura. And both of them are close to Cheetos. Before class starts, Cheetos confidently says, our popular squad is back. But the others correct him, we're not just a squad, we're a brand. Some students get irritated by their noise, but Cheetos just shrugs it off. In my perfect world, haters are always gonna hate. Then their homeroom teacher Kira walks in, same lazy vibe as always. Haru complains about the heat from wearing a tie. Cheetos suggests, just switch to a ribbon. But she refuses, it'll ruin my image. Then, as usual, Kira hands the class over to Cheetos. He walks up to the podium, and instead of introducing himself, he says, you guys already know my name. Some people even call me a playboy. Some students laugh, others clearly aren't impressed. And right here, the cracks in his perfect life begin to show. Cheetos starts talking about class responsibilities, but his friend group immediately jumps in saying he should become the class representative again, just like before. And without hesitation, Cheetos proudly accepts. Then suddenly, Yuko stands up and says, I'll be the vice rep again too. She jokes that she's great at taking care of things, and just like that, the two of them become class representatives again. During lunch, Cheetos grabs a canned drink and heads up to the rooftop, where he finds Kira, casually smoking. Cheetos jokes, being a smoker must be tough, people always judge you. Kira replies calmly, people always need a common enemy. Cheetos smiles, because he knows people judge him the same way, calling him a playboy. Then Kira reveals why he called him up here. He shows him a photo of a student, Ken, a lonely otaku, who hasn't come to school for 2 entire semesters, and Kira wants Cheetos to bring him back. Cheetos is confused. Why me? And then he asks, what if I refuse? Kira smiles, and says, then that perfect image you've built disappears. And that's something Cheetos can't afford to lose. So, he accepts. He tells himself, he wants to live a beautiful life, enjoy his youth to the fullest, and he's not going to let anything ruin that. On his way home after school, Cheetos notices a girl sitting alone, reading a book. Asuka. He greets her, and she smiles back. He glances at her book and casually quotes a line from it. And just like that, she's impressed. The story shifts to the past, the first time Cheetos met Asuka. He was walking home when he saw a young boy getting bullied. The other kids called him gross and pushed him toward the water. The boy gets stuck, with no way out. Cheetos was about to step in, but suddenly a silver-haired girl jumps into the water. Asuka. Instead of stopping the situation, she laughs and says, guess I'll join the fun, and starts playing in the water with the boy. The tension breaks instantly. Even the bullies get pulled in. And within minutes everyone's laughing, soaked, and smiling. Soon, all the kids go home, like friends. But Asuka is completely drenched. She notices Cheetos staring and teases him, what, never seen a wet girl before? Cheetos just smiles, and hands her a towel. Then asks, why didn't you just stop them? Asuka replies, I thought it'd be better if they all went home smiling, even if they were dirty, instead of fighting each other. That answer completely captivates Cheetos. He asks her name. She smiles and says, Asuka, it means tomorrow's wind. And in that moment, Cheetos is completely drawn to her. Back in the present, Asuka teases him, you're imperfectly perfect, like a beautiful park, where fireworks and games aren't allowed. Looks perfect, but something feels missing. Then suddenly, she asks, if me and my closest friend were both in danger, who would you save? She continues playfully, let's say we're both drowning, and you only have a 2-seat kayak, what would you do? Cheetos laughs and says, I'd save both of you. Cheetos laughs and says, I'd just tell one of you to hang on to the edge. but Asuka immediately adds, no, there are piranhas in the water. Then, with full confidence, she says, I'd save you, because I like you more than any other guy in my class. Chito smirks, that's a terrible way to confess. Asuka calmly replies, it's not a confession. And then she drops something deeper, someone like you wouldn't choose just one. You'd put both girls on the boat and let yourself get eaten, because self-sacrifice is the most beautiful choice. Cheetos laughs it off, I'm not that dramatic. But Asuka doesn't back down, no, you are that kind of person. And for the first time, Cheetos goes silent. That night, he stares at the moon lost in thought. Am I really playing my role perfectly? He wonders, is Ken looking at this same moon right now? But the truth? Ken's room is completely shut off. Curtains closed. He's cut himself off from the world. The next day, Yuzuki walks up to Cheetos. She asks, something's bothering you, right? Cheetos isn't surprised, because Yuzuki can read people instantly. He tells her about Kara's request, bringing Ken back to school. Yuzuki immediately says, I'll go with you. Things are easier when you're not alone. And even while offering help, she still maintains her perfect image. Cheetos notices that, but tells her he's already asked someone else. Yuzuki just smiles, that's fine. You can always count on me. I like helping people I respect. After school, Cheetos waits for Yua. When she arrives, she quickly fixes her makeup just to look good in front of him. She asks why he called her. Cheetos casually says, because people like you don't get hated easily. Then he brings out a bicycle. Yua sits behind him. Cheetos says, hold on, or you'll fall. But instead of holding him, she just grabs a small corner of his uniform, because of his playboy reputation. As they ride, Yua laughs and says, your back is surprisingly broad. Cheetos grins, I used to be the best baseball player in the prefecture. Yua replies softly, I know, I used to watch your matches, even before we were friends. Cheetos teases her, so, you were my fan? Yua blushes, half yes, half no. Then she asks, do you actually have a plan? Cheetos jokes, yeah. I'll slow down a bit, so I can feel your soft oranges on my back. Big mistake, grinning face with sweat. Yua instantly digs her nails into his neck. She asks again, seriously, do you actually have a plan for Ken? Cheetos replies, there's no point making a plan until we understand who we're dealing with. Soon, they arrive at Ken's house. Through the intercom, they explain who they are. His mother lets them in, and admits she doesn't understand why her son suddenly stopped going to school. They suggest talking to him, but she's scared it might make things worse. Cheetos and Yua reassure her, we'll handle it. They walk up to Ken's room, knock on the door, and instantly, a voice from inside shouts, go away, leave me alone. Cheetos introduces himself, and instantly, Ken fires back, oh, so you're that playboy. The guy who doesn't miss a single chance with any girl. Cheetos' expression hardens. He's about to snap, but Yua quickly calms him down. Then Yua introduces herself, and Ken smirks, oh, you're one of his favorite girls, huh? That's it. Now even Yua's pissed. Ken keeps going, you're only here because your teacher sent you. You don't actually care about me. The room goes silent. Cheetos tries to lighten the mood. We can talk about what you like light novels. Ken snaps, don't come back. We have nothing to do with each other. On the way back, Yua asks, did you learn anything from that? Cheetos jokes, yeah, he hates me so much, he'd probably bite my head off if he could. Yua laughs, yeah, that part was obvious. But still, you looked cool handling it. They stop to buy some light novels, and as they ride back home, the orange sky glows over them. Yua's hand rests tightly around his arm. A quiet, almost romantic moment. That night, Cheetos realizes he needs a different approach. So the next week, he goes to meet Ken again. This time, with Yuko. As she gets on the bike, Yuko says, ride properly, people are staring at my thighs. Then she smiles, but it's fine. I don't mind strangers looking. Cheetos teases, then show me too. Yuko laughs, you only get the premium version. As she sits behind him, she says, back then, you used to sweat a lot. Now you don't. Then softly, I actually liked how you smelled. She leans closer, pressing herself against him. They arrive at Ken's house again. And immediately Ken fires another insult, you and your diseases, get lost. He looks around, where's that other girl? Didn't even bother showing up? Cheetos replies calmly, that's not true. She cares about you. Yuko steps forward, hi, I'm Yuko. Ken instantly smirks, another girl for Cheetos to mess around with. Yuko pauses, confused, what do you mean? Cheetos explains, and now she's mad, excuse me? I'm limited edition, and you're being really rude. Ken fires back, you're just here to impress him. Yuko pauses, thinks, and then honestly says, yeah, I do want to be his number one girl, that's why I'm helping. Ken's tone suddenly changes, I don't need anyone's sympathy, and if you're only here to impress someone else, then leave. That line hits differently, and for the first time Yuko realizes, there's something deeper going on. She looks at him carefully, and asks, wait, is that really how you feel? Yuko looks at Ken, and asks directly, you stopped coming to school, because a girl rejected you, didn't you? Silence. Ken slowly nods. He snaps back, you're just like her, trying to impress Cheetos. But Yuko doesn't back down. With full confidence, she says, no, I'm different. I'm willing to compete with anyone, if that's what it takes to win his heart. She continues, the reason I fell for him is because he treats everyone kindly. That line hits hard, and it only makes Ken angrier. Cheetos gently steps in and quietly tells Yuko, go downstairs, grab some tea. I'll handle this. She hesitates, but leaves. Cheetos walks up to Ken's door. Open up. Let's just talk. Maybe I can help. Ken immediately fires back, get lost. Go eat dirt. Cheetos pauses, then quietly turns around and starts walking away. But inside, Ken hesitates. A part of him wants to open that door. And then, suddenly, Ken sees a shadow near his window. Crash Cheetos smashes the window open with a baseball bat. Ken is stunned. Cheetos just smiles. Come on, let's find something we have in common. Ken shouts, that's a crime. Cheetos casually replies, relax. I got permission from your mom. Cheetos walks in, turns on the light, and sits down in front of him. Let's talk, for real this time. And finally, Ken breaks. I hate popular kids. They look down on people like us. They don't even treat us like humans. They're only popular because they're good looking or athletic. Cheetos shakes his head, you're wrong. Everyone works hard for what they have. Yuko, Yua, all of them, they earn their place. Ken argues back, it doesn't matter how hard we try. Gifted people will always win. So what's the point? Cheetos responds calmly, if you don't believe in yourself, then your hard work becomes meaningless. But sooner or later, effort does pay off. Then Cheetos starts guiding him. How to talk to people, how to express emotions, how to actually communicate. Ken hesitates, but slowly starts trying. Ken looks at him, confused, you actually, like light novels? Cheetos smiles, for the past week, I've been reading nothing but them. He starts naming titles, even explaining their stories in detail. Ken is shocked. Ken asks, why would you go this far? Cheetos answers, I don't like people who judge others, without even trying to understand them. Just like you judged me. Communication starts with one thing, wanting to understand the other person. That's what Yua and Yuko were trying to do. Then Cheetos drops the truth, you're a hypocrite. You hate people who judge others, but you did the exact same thing. Ken goes silent. Cheetos pulls a book from Ken's shelf and says, there's a character in this story, he was gifted, handsome, strong, kind. He worked hard to build his grades and his reputation. But because he was too perfect, people started hating him. So when he made even a small mistake, they mocked him. And eventually, he started lowering himself on purpose, just so people would accept him. And because of that, people hated him even more. Ken clenches his fists. Cheetos continues, but then, a teacher saved him. He helped him accept his own gifts instead of hiding them. And after that he stopped holding himself back. He started improving, becoming better, so he could rise higher, and live beautifully, like a blue moon in the night sky, or a sparkling glass bottle glowing in the dark. Ken looks at him, who is this story about? Cheetos smiles, it's about you. Ken laughs it off, stop with your fake inspirational speech. But still, he admits something, yeah, I judged you, even though I didn't really know you. Cheetos nods, people either over-idolize popularity, or over-hate it. Ken shrugs, I don't hate it, I'm just jealous. You're winning at life. Ken continues, you're handsome. Everything comes easy to you. Cheetos smirks, that's actually my disadvantage. People judge me every day, call me a playboy. Ken adds, and there are people who want to bring you down. Cheetos agrees, yeah, but I've got good friends. They always stand by me. Then Cheetos says, instead of focusing on people who hate you, focus on yourself. Ken says, dating must be easy for you. Cheetos sighs, yeah, getting attention is easy. But the hard part? Rejecting people who actually care about you. Because in the end, you look like the bad guy. Ken finally starts talking. Cheetos already guesses he confessed to a girl and got brutally rejected because he wasn't good looking enough. And after that, he started hating people. Both of them connect over that pain. Outside the room, Yuko watches relieved, seeing progress. Ken says, I don't think I like her anymore, but I want to become popular. He looks at Cheetos, teach me. Cheetos hesitates. I can't stay with you forever. You'll have to take responsibility for your own life. But then, he agrees. I'll help you, for 3 weeks. After that, you're on your own. Cheetos asks, what's your goal? Ken replies, I want to show everyone who bullied me who I really am. Cheetos nods. He's fully on board now. But Ken admits, I'm scared to face people, especially girls. Cheetos grins, that's because you've never experienced the sweetness of oranges yet. That line instantly grabs Ken's attention, smirking face. Cheetos continues, you need to become a better version of yourself, so one day, you can confidently stand between them. Yeah, you know what he means, face with tears of joy. Later, Ken comes downstairs. He apologizes to his mother and to Yuko. Yuko smiles, it's fine, just go take a shower first. Then Yuko helps trim his hair. Cheetos steps in, first step, a full makeover. Diet plan, clean appearance, discipline. Cheetos takes Ken's phone. No social media for now. Ken is confused. Why? Cheetos answers, because first, you need to understand why hiding behind anonymous accounts and hating others is only hurting you. Cheetos sits down with Yuko. She's smiling, relieved that everything went smoothly. Cheetos shrugs it off. I just pushed him forward so he can move on and be ready for someone new. Yuko looks at him and says, honestly, people can't help but like you. That's why I like you too. Cheetos laughs it off, not wanting to overthink it. But Yuko quietly adds, backhand index pointing right. One day, I want you to open your heart to me. Backhand index pointing right, because I still have so much I want to tell you. The next morning, Ken feels nervous. After months of absence, he's finally going back to school. Cheetos reassures him, being nervous means something big is about to change. Cheetos walks into class with Ken and casually introduces him in front of everyone, even jokes about how Ken stopped coming because of a rejection. Ken stiffens, but Cheetos leans in and says, you need to learn how to laugh at yourself. Then the group joins in, light teasing, harmless jokes, but class fills with laughter. Ken feels awkward at first, but Cheetos explains, backhand index pointing right, there's a difference between jokes and insults. Backhand index pointing right, you need to understand that. The teacher walks in, sees Ken, and instantly understands the mission is complete. He gives the class time to help Ken settle in. At lunch, some girls notice Ken's meal. He explains, I'm on a diet. Cheetos told me I need to improve myself. They ask what happened, and Ken finally tells the story. He was part of an otaku club. There was a girl he liked, Maki, but there was another guy better looking, more athletic. So when Ken confessed, he got rejected hard. Cheetos exaggerates the story a bit for humor, but everyone supports Ken. Confessing takes courage. That's what really matters. Later, Kazuki pulls Cheetos aside. Bringing someone new into the group like that isn't a good idea. He won't change that easily. But Cheetos shakes his head. He can change. I believe in him. Later, on the rooftop, Cheetos sits with Kira again. Kira smiles. You completed the mission perfectly. Cheetos asks, how do you actually live life for yourself? Kira thinks, takes a drag, and says, most people doubt their own judgment. They compare themselves to others, or try to bring others down. But living fully means trusting your own compass. That line hits Cheetos. He starts wondering, is my compass still the same as before? 1 week later, Ken has already lost weight, training hard, like he's preparing for something big. So Cheetos and Yuko take him shopping. New clothes, better styled glasses that actually suit him. Yuko smiles, now you actually look sharp. After shopping, Yuko suggests, let's go to that restaurant. The same place where Ken plans to meet his old friends. Sitting there, Ken shows them the group chat. How Maki mocked him, even after he invited everyone to meet. And eventually he left the group. Yuko looks at him seriously. Why do you want to go back to people who treated you like that? Ken answers, backhand index pointing right, I want them to see. Backhand index pointing right, how much I've changed. How much better I've become. Yuko smiles. Then I have an idea. Yuko calls over a server. Can you take a picture of us? The three of them pose together. Ken looks at the photo and freezes. He can't believe how much he's changed. Yuko smiles. We actually look like best friends now. Cheetos looks at Ken and says, never forget how hard you worked to get here. And keep improving, no matter what. Ken quietly nods. I won't waste everything you guys did for me. Seeing him smile, Cheetos realizes Ken really has changed. And maybe one day he'll look back at this moment with pride. A few days later, Cheetos is walking toward class when he hears something. Voices. Mocking. Inside, some students are bullying Ken. Why is a pathetic loser like you hanging with Cheetos group? Yua tries to defend him, but they snap back. Stop acting like some princess. Show us what you really are. Outside, Cheetos hears everything. Standing with Yuzuki and Kazuki, his expression changes. We're stepping in. They enter the class, calm, confident, like always. Cheetos walks straight up to the main bully. Do I know you? The guy snaps. We've played against each other before. My name's Yumura. Kazuki steps in, physically shutting down the situation. But the tension doesn't drop. Yumura keeps pushing. Why are you hanging out with someone like him? Cheetos answers without hesitation. I'll hang out with whoever I want, even if it's Ken. Yumura scoffs. I hate people like you. You've never experienced failure. And someone like Ken is just wasting your time. The room goes quiet. Ken is completely shaken. Later, Ken asks Cheetos, what should I have done back there? Cheetos calmly replies, as long as you stand by your beliefs, no one can truly hurt you. On the way home, Cheetos feels it. Responsibility. Because he's the one who started Ken's transformation. And now, Ken is facing pain because of it. What if this path just leads to more scars? Then suddenly, Haru shows up. Come hang out with me. They head to the sports field. Stretching, talking, the conversation shifts to Cheetos' past. His baseball days. Why he quit. Cheetos acts like it doesn't matter anymore. But Haru laughs. That's a lie. I know how hard you worked. They start playing basketball. Haru challenges him. If you lose, you have to tell me what's bothering you. Cheetos agrees, but smirks, and if you lose, you have to answer my question. Yeah, classic risky joke smirking face. They play, fast, intense, and in the end, Haru wins. She smiles, looks straight at him. Alright, you lost. Now tell me, what's really bothering you? Haru looks at Cheetos. So, what's actually bothering you? Cheetos finally opens up. I'm scared. Ken's plan might fail. He wants to prove himself to his old friends, and I feel like I need to do something to make sure it works. Haru immediately shuts him down. That's stupid. You've already done everything you could. Now you need to trust him. She continues, you're like a coach who's already trained his player. At some point, you have to let them play on their own. Then she hits deeper. Right now, you're underestimating Ken. You don't trust his resolve. And honestly, that's kind of arrogant. Cheetos goes quiet. They hang out until the sky turns dark. Then Cheetos suddenly says, rematch. Let's see who can swing higher. Loser reveals their deepest secret. Under the deep blue sky, with stars shining above, they swing higher and higher. And in that moment, Cheetos thinks, one day, I want to stand firmly on my own. That night, Cheetos is on a call with Yuzuki. They're joking around, role-playing. Then she suddenly asks, why did you help Ken? Cheetos jokes, Kara blackmailed me. But Yuzuki immediately calls him out. No, that's not true. She says, you helped him because you're, you. Someone who feels responsible. Someone with a bit of a savior complex. Cheetos is caught off guard, but he can't deny it. Yuzuki smirks. Now you owe me a favor. Cheetos asks, what do you want? She suddenly says, be my boyfriend. Cheetos freezes. Then she laughs it off. Relax. I got too into the roleplay. But Cheetos plays along. So, how are your oranges doing? Yuzuki laughs, deep blue, like the night sky. That line stays in his head all night. He can't sleep. A week later, Ken has improved even more. Lost more weight, gained some muscle, looks like a completely different person. It's the last day of Cheetos mentoring him. Cheetos reassures him, you're ready. You'll show everyone how much you've changed. But Ken hesitates. I'm not sure. I even want to prove anything anymore. Later, they're playing football. Yumura challenges Cheetos. Let's play a match. Loser does something embarrassing. Cheetos accepts. Ken gets nervous, but Cheetos tells him, relax. It's just a game. I'll pass to you. The match starts. Cheetos and Kazuki carry the team, but keep trying to give Ken a chance to score. Every time Ken gets the ball, he messes up. And every time, people laugh. His confidence starts breaking again. Last play. Cheetos passes to Ken. But he freezes. He doesn't move. Cheetos steps in and fires a powerful shot. A clean, insane goal. Feels straight out of Blue Lock fire. Even after that, their team loses. As Cheetos does his forfeit, Yumura says something to Ken. We don't fully hear it, but it hits him. Later, Yuko and Cheetos are talking about Ken's performance. Light teasing. No bad intent. But Ken hears it. He walks up, angry. So you were talking behind my back? Cheetos tries to explain. We were just joking. I'd say the same thing to your face. But Ken snaps. Yumura was right. Ken snaps. So that's what I was to you, just a joke. Yuko tries to stop him, but he's not listening anymore. He continues, angry. Tomorrow's your last day helping me anyway. Guys like me, were never meant for sports. But someone like you, a perfect, handsome guy, dragged me into it, just to embarrass me in front of everyone. And then take the spotlight for yourself. His voice shakes. In the end, I was just a joke. Yuko steps forward, furious. After everything we've been through, you still don't understand him? Cheetos is not the kind of person who laughs behind someone's back. Ken freezes for a second. That line hits him. Cheetos walks forward. Calm. Honest. I'm sorry. I crossed the line between teasing and hurting you. And yeah, that's on me. Ken looks down, guilt starts kicking in. But instead of facing it, he runs. Cheetos doesn't chase him. He just shouts, good luck tomorrow. When you meet your old friends, I know you can do it. Later, on the way home, Yuko looks at Cheetos and says, you're a hero. You believed in someone like Ken, and actually helped him change. Cheetos shakes his head. I'm not a hero. Yuko smiles softly. You are. Because you can see the good in people, even when they can't see it themselves. And just like that, part 1 of this story comes to an end. But the story isn't over yet. This anime is still ongoing.